Welcome in, Wednesday edition. Blue Sky Live here with you today. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio. Got a lot of small topics today. I don't know that I have a big topic for you. Neal and I discussing, well, hey, what's the headline? You went, I don't know, but it's fine. We're used to those in July, sometimes in June, but now we're getting it in May as well. Ole Miss and Mississippi State, they play baseball, but they do not play baseball until Friday, so that's not doing us much good on Wednesday here. We've covered that topic to the best of our abilities, so we'll entertain, we'll inform, we'll figure something out together here with you this morning. Hope all of you are safe from the straight line winds that kind of came through Mississippi yesterday. Told Neal there's a huge tree down at the entrance of his neighborhood today. Saw a lot of rubbish kind of stuff all over town that had been thrown near and about as I was headed over. Heard on the radio this morning, I think you guys down in Jackson, Brookhaven, 5-6 inches of rain overnight last night. So pretty good bit of
I slept through all of it.
Just nothing.
I was exhausted. I slept really, really hard.
Some folks don't have power in Lafayette County today, this morning. Yeah,
that's what Laura said.
Yeah. So
she apparently got up at 2:00 in the morning and picked up sticks off the driveway
at 2 a.m.
At 2 a.m.
Why?
I don't know.
No judgment, just curiosity.
I didn't judge either. I asked the same question. Why'd you do that? She was up. Apparently she heard the wind.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll get to our friends in a second, but SPD and MS3, did y'all see the story about the guy who let himself get bit by a poison? It's venomous, but sure. Poisonous snake for 20 years to build immunity. I did not see that.
No.
I don't want to hang out with him.
No.
Whatever his reasoning, I don't care. He's not somebody I want to have a beer with.
No.
He can go do his thing and I'll do mine. We're good.
I'll be honest, I judged.
You judging?
Yeah.
Did he have a scientific reason? Can you help me? What was the reasoning behind? Because 20 years, you're committed to this. There is a purpose. So what was the purpose? I am judging, but I'd like to know, and then I will make my final determination at that point. While we're waiting on that, I'll tell you about BlueSky locations all over the state of Mississippi, up and down I-55 North Mississippi, down to the epicenter down in Macomb. Got Sweet Daddy's locations at most of those stops. They do catering for any size group, whether you are trying to take care of maybe an office or a corporate event, family reunion, or just your immediate family. Call ahead. They'll have it wrapped up, ready to go for you with BlueSky and Sweet Daddy's. And we are in the Clark Ford studio.
We are. Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call that number. Ask for Corey Clark. Till, Avery, I don't know. Avery says, I'd rather get bitten by a snake than deal with roaches.
I would rather have roaches crawl all over me. And it's not even close.
Same.
It's why spiders don't bother me. There can be spiders crawling over the desk in front of me, and I'm like, okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah, I almost think that's hyperbole on Avery's part. I wonder if I asked her husband, what do you think? I think he'd say, she's nuts. No. We'll have to get Neal on the show. And ask him.
See what he says.
Say, would you rather get bitten by a snake? Would you rather your wife be bitten by a snake or have to deal with roaches? I think he would say, bring on the roaches.
I got questions.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call it. Ask for our friend Corey. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done. You can what I recommend that you do. Let's hop into a Clark Ford today. 662-257-1900. Guest join. If Neal Forbes joins, he'll join on the Campbell Clinic hotline. From fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions, the pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit campbellclinicoxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
Shohei hit that ball a long way there last night for the Dodgers and the Marlins.
He does that routinely. He's kind of a good baseball player.
So she follows up, kind of nuts about that. Said it's not a question. thinks that he would agree with her, what she would prefer, snakes and roaches. Ginger said at Disney World last week, snake jumped into a crowd during Fantasmic. It's a show at Disney World. People started panicking. She was one section over. Finally, somebody grabbed it and threw it back into the water. Not magical. No.
No, that's not magical at all.
Would you have grabbed it and thrown it back into the water?
If necessary, I would prefer
someone else grab it and throw it back in the water.
I have a philosophy as it pertains to snakes. I leave snakes alone, and in return, I hope they leave me alone. It's like the whole people like when they eat rattlesnake. Nope. Mm-mm.
You don't want to eat it?
Nope.
Why? It's dead.
I don't want it to eat me one day when I'm dead. Let's just let it be. Let's just agree to leave each other alone. Call it like a peace treaty.
It's kind of like I love eating octopus, but it bothers me because they're really smart. Like they're almost too evolved to eat, I feel like, in a way. Where I'm like, but I don't know, grill it up.
It's good.
Oh, all in at the same time. I don't know. What else we got in stream before we get started? We are on day 11 of the Karen Reed murder retrial. We were watching the media and the jury this morning while we were waiting for the countdown to tick.
They played all
to zero
of her,
on the show.
They played all of her voicemails yesterday again. And yeah, she sounds deranged. No question. She's very angry. But I have to remind people when they do this, like, she's not on trial for being crazy. That's not the charge. So if the charge is Karen Reed crazy? Yes. Guilty as hell. That is not what's on the menu.
And I think it's why this trial is captivating to people that it is captivating to, is that there's a thread on our board about it. We've been talking about it, so I've seen people mention it back to me because of this, is everybody thinks she's guilty, but there is enough plausible deniability to rule her innocent, so you're waiting to see or not guilty, sorry. You're waiting to see if that is quite the fact. It seems almost unanimous from just scuttlebutt that Brad goes, probably, but I don't know. I don't really have enough.
There's a lot of questions about the investigation.
Yeah.
And they've been caught lying on the stand already so many times. No, you can't convict. We're going to get another hung jury. Hell, we might get part 3 of the Karen Reed trial. Because it's going to require a district attorney looking all these police officers in the eye and going, it's not worth trying again. This is a waste of taxpayer dollars. And that's not really how the blue line works.
The answer to the question I asked you yesterday is, at least in the present moment of who is in the most trouble, it is the Cleveland Cavaliers after falling last night to Indiana.
Got injuries too.
They banged up. 2-0 now for Indiana, headed to Indiana.
Evan Mobley didn't play last night. Darius Garland didn't play last night.
Halliburton hits the 3 inside 3 seconds left, something like that. And
Donovan Mitchell was amazing last night, and he just couldn't quite finish it. He was incredible. One of the most underrated players in all of professional basketball.
In the other game last night, Golden State 99, Minnesota 88.
Steph Curry has a hamstring injury.
Not expected to play game 2, says Steve Kerr, at least.
I mean, hamstrings, those are kind of problematic. Big night tonight for both Boston and OKC. Both probably have to win.
That's tonight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Benedict Matherin's a great player. Pascal Siakam's still a great player. Tyrese Halliburton is absolutely a great player who right now is super motivated because all of his peers voted him most overrated. He's literally just possessed right now.
I couldn't have told you that Benedict Mathurin was a player.
Yeah, second year player.
Okay. Couldn't have even told you that he was in the league.
Terrific player.
Okay.
I know this will shock you. He's a great defender. Defense is what's winning games right now. I know you're not allowed to say that. People hate the NBA because they, quote, don't play defense, but it's just not true. Anyway, next. I don't want to get those emails today.
a decent question. What makes a case national enthrallment? A lot of cases go to trial, but this one made national news. Think of Casey Anthony, Menendez, etc. Seems one a year.
You have
It's a good question.
You have police involvement.
Yeah.
You have at least the accusation of a big cover-up, of a frame job.
It has to read like a true crime novel.
Yeah.
The cliff notes and the thesis have to be, oh, wow.
Well, what it is it's so he lost 3 pints of blood.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the blood? Because it wasn't in the snow. Where's the blood? They had a dog. How many people just give their dog away?
0.
How many people just give their German Shepherd away?
None.
At 6 a.m.?
None.
Had the basement redone? Suddenly sold the house? There's stuff. Not saying any of those things make them guilty, but those are things that make you say, huh. People making phone calls in the middle of the night. He's a first responder. You're outside. If you wake up in the morning, or if you're asleep at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, and suddenly there's fire trucks and ambulances and police cruisers and all of those lights and stuff right outside your window, are you probably coming out to see what's going on?
100%.
Yeah, well, they didn't. And they're cops, first responders. If you pull up at your brother's house and there's cops and ambulances and fire trucks and a body in the front yard, are you going to the door to make sure your brother and his family are okay?
And they didn't.
They didn't. Probably because they knew they were okay. Was she drunk? Yes. Is she insane? Yes. Is it possible that she hit him and left him for dead? Sure. But then you got to explain away all those other things.
Yeah.
And what are all those marks on his arm? Because those don't look like the marks you'd get from a bumper.
Mm-hmm.
And if he bled out in the snow, where's the blood?
I mean, Stacey's right. OJ had star power. Casey Anthony involving a baby. Karen has sketchy police. Big ratings.
Yeah.
Family involvements typically.
And a lot of, I mean, look, I'm a pretty normal person, as weird as I am. People like trials. People are interested in trials.
They like investigations and trials, and you get them both.
Yeah.
I mean, Netflix has made a killing off a lot of these documentaries in the last.
Well, the documentary on Karen Reed was pretty fascinating. It was pretty well done, and it made everybody look bad. They were probably in the midst of a breakup. But he was still texting her, wanting her to meet him that night. So they weren't completely broken up. He wanted her to stay the weekend. She had gotten to the point where she didn't like raising the kids. They weren't her kids.
Mm-hmm. This segment has devolved, so I'll hit a few news and notes, then we'll get into some of our actual topics after the first break. Good news for you e-readers, your Kindle readers these days. I know a lot of them you are out there. I was for a while, so I've kind of switched almost exclusively to audiobooks now. The courts,
have you really?
Oh yeah, almost exclusively.
You don't
audiobooks.
You don't read. You listen.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
It takes less time. I'm doing other stuff, so I just play it in my ears like a podcast. If I'm reading, I got to sit down and only read. My time does not work like that right now in my stage of life. And I'm tired at night.
Yeah, I understand.
So if I'm doing dishes or laundry or just running errands, I'll just turn the audiobook on.
I've been reading.
I only do actual podcast listening while I'm running. If I have anything else in my ears throughout the day, it's an audiobook.
By the way, I have tried that.
You just can't do it?
I just can't do it. I've worked my way up.
Because you want rhythm.
I've worked my way up to an hour and 15 minutes running. And I got to have something. And I've tried the podcast. I've tried Bill Simmons. I've tried a lot of different, I just can't do it. As soon as the quit thing goes off in your brain, you know what I'm talking about. You've run enough to know I'm a little sore today. My back's kind of bothering me. Why am I doing this? I mean, I even do the deal with, you know what, Neal, you're old. Look at most men your age. They're all fat. You can
You're
be
on the
fat too.
average. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, and then I need something to keep me rolling.
You know, your Garmin's usually an asshole to you, but today, mine told me my fitness age is 37. So I'm like, hey, going down a little bit. My fitness age is younger than my actual age. I was
My Oura
proud
ring,
of it today.
my
I
Oura
was
ring
like,
told me I'm 3 years younger than my age. And I was like, thanks. That was a pickup.
Yeah, actually, it was. I mean, we're having one of those days, guys. No one cares about this, and I'm moving on in a second with my actual thing about the Kindle that I was talking about. But
Sorry, I interrupted.
no, you're good. I set out yesterday on a run, and I said at first I went, "Hey, I'm going to run 5 miles." What I had in my head, and not even a half mile in, I went, "I'm bored. I don't care today. So let's try to make this productive. Let's see if we can set." Are close to a long-time personal best in the 5K instead. So we picked up the speed, and I did it yesterday. I ran my best 5K in like 10 years. So I was proud of myself yesterday after failing on the actual distance that I had planned to go. Yeah, they're asking you, can you walk and podcast? You mean like listen?
Walk and do a podcast?
I mean, sure. I guess I had to.
Guess. Yeah, I walk to podcasts all the time.
Yeah, and BWL is right. Your best runs are when you don't even realize what you're listening to. Because you just kind of get off in your own head. You're not really paying attention.
Oh, yeah.
But
no, the key thing in your running with music is the first 2 miles.
And after that, it's whatever.
You're whatever.
See, music is boring to me. I need somebody talking.
I mean, everybody's different. I'm not judging.
Mm-hmm. And I have podcasts that I only run to. I won't listen to outside if I'm not running. So what I'll say is Kindles now have update your app if you haven't and you are a Kindle user, because now they have a buy button directly on the app. The courts ruled yesterday that Apple is not allowed to pay their ridiculously high third-party commission fee for external app usage. They were taking 27%. Apple was when you bought something with an iPhone on another app. Apple was getting 27% of that. The courts ruled that is not allowed. So because of that, now Amazon has updated on Kindle. Good day for Jeff Bezos, as they are available there to buy directly off your app. I know that's a big deal for a lot of people because you had to go to an external browser, then send it back to your Kindle.
Oh,
so yeah.
Now you can
from
just
a cumbersome standpoint, that is a pretty big deal. Courts could reverse it at a higher level, but as of now, that was 27%. Sounds like a lot, but we have experience with Google and Super Chat, so that's actually pretty minimal. So proud of Apple compared to some of the job that we get from
Google. Takes like 50% of our Super Chats.
Yeah, we would. I mean, in all honesty, guys, we don't want to do it because it just seems weird. But when you guys Super Chat, I would much rather have like a Venmo or a Cash App up there,
100%,
and then highlight you in some other way. I will be honest. Like sometimes I go, okay, thank you, really appreciate it, but maybe I'm discouraging, and that's fine. I don't even mind discouraging. Be aware that you are helping corporate America when you submit those things. The more you know. Weight Watchers filed for bankruptcy yesterday. See that? They're about $1.7 billion in debt, hammered by the semaglutide movement that is going on right now.
The what?
Really?
Semaglutide movement. I have no news
Ozempic.
To
me. The actual.
I didn't know what that was.
Wegovy.
Okay. Got it.
Ozempic. Mounjaro.
Got you.
Yes. They have started trying to offer those things themselves, but people do not want to restrict calories and do that. So Weight Watchers in trouble there.
Oh, there's a lot in the stream today. We could have a stream today. All right. First,
we can do a Venmo. I just feel weirdly about it.
We could, though.
We could.
Avery says he just talked to her husband, Neal.
Okay.
She thinks he will back her up on the Roach thing, but he's happy to weigh in.
Okay, real quick, for anybody, I doubt there's anyone new that just stumbled on us today. This is not our normal show. We're talking to our people today.
Yeah.
This is us talking to our people.
We'll get into some stuff in a minute.
Yeah. Just be aware of that.
It's also a weird week, and we got a lot going on. Grind says he heard JG, referring to JG Tate. refer to the On3 guys as his new teammates. Do y'all get to choose how to interact with the new guys? There's a lot there.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be back in a minute. I'll come back and go to break.
I have had a text conversation with On3. Shannon, and we're going to talk sometime next week about how the next few months play out.
I do not anticipate Neal us having to do any type of merger where there is a co-site branded situation. I do anticipate individual websites
Yes.
through at least through the entirety of the remainder of the contracts.
Yes.
Fair?
Yes.
Okay. I get it. I'm sorry.
I have a contract. Contracts have start dates. They have end dates. All contracts. They have terms, a start date, terms, and end date. I anticipate nothing will change for me through the entirety of my contract. I do not think that the people at the Ole Miss Spirit would refer to me as a teammate, and I wouldn't refer to them as a teammate. I mean, the truth of it in this market, and probably in a lot of markets, is that everybody's not exactly crazy about one another. It would be quite complex. I think they run
that verbiage is interesting from Jay, frankly, to the point that it's almost kind of got me my mind spinning a little bit as I'm
referring to
them
them as teammates.
Yeah.
Well, ultimately, I think they're going to.
I would have follow-ups.
Ultimately, I think they're going to merge sites.
Well, because why? I mean, this is not about Ole Miss or this site or us.
Just in general.
In general, why have a merger if you were going to allow you to compete against yourself? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
So eventually, yes, I anticipate.
Yeah, they're going to merge sites. Of course.
But I do not think that's imminent.
I don't think it's immediate, no.
Not fair. But basic business tells me that makes no sense. I have more thoughts that I can't say. I apologize. We'll come back in.
Well, most of these markets, it's not even about Ole Miss. Most of these markets in this in the website genre, there's not room for 3 sites. It's very difficult. Here's the truth. It's very difficult to get anyone under the age of 30 to subscribe to a website. So the way this works, obviously, is if you're in a business where your average customer is older and you're not replacing the older customer with a younger customer, it's very difficult to, quote, grow, end quote, from a subscription model. And so there aren't many markets where there's 3 viable websites.
Yeah, I'll try to touch on that the best I can. There's a couple of questions to stream that I do feel like I can either answer or give a best guess to. I'll do that in 1 second. First, let me tell you about the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation because they're running the Points in the SIP campaign till the end of the month, qualifying donations of at least $5,000 made to the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation or the Vol Society will be included in the bonus point program for 2 or 3 times the usual amount. So if you want to get your priority points up, now's the perfect time to do it. Call the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation at 662-915-7159 to learn more. That's 662-915-7159.
I'm curious to hear which ones you're wanting to respond to. I'm kind of fascinated.
Right.
We're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, same great people, products, and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern, 662-429-4429. Window Hero is going to be doing some work at our place here soon. We've got gutters that need to be cleaned, and I don't want to get up on the ladder and do it. Maybe you don't either, so you should get in touch with Window Hero. They handle window cleaning, pressure washing, gutter cleaning, gutter guards, everything in between. It's windowhero.com or 662-510-7077. Oxford locals, Ole Miss families, if you need dry cleaning or laundry done right, Lapels Dry Cleaning. Remind me to tell you something about Lapels, by the way. It relates to you. Has you covered. If I don't tell you now, I'll forget in an hour.
Okay.
It's just where I am. My mind's gone. I'm in a scramble. Proudly serving the Oxford community since 2016. Yeah, write it down. So I'll see. Yeah, there you go. Since 2016, Lapels takes care of everything from suits and formal dresses to comforters and everyday laundry. Even better, they offer free pickup and delivery to make life easier. Just call 662-638-3149 to be added to their pickup and delivery route, or visit them at 3010 Old Taylor Road, right across from the Mark Condominiums. Mention Rebel Grove for 50% off your first order. Trust Lapels to keep you looking your best. Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? Are you already retired? Should you consider Roth conversions? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with a personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Seago with Seago Wealth Management specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan. Whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere, schedule a free discovery meeting and see what they can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com. We went to Arnett's for Caroline's graduation present. They did a fantastic job with it. Beautiful jewelry. It's Arnett's Fine Jewelry. It's a fourth-generation jeweler located in the old Lammon's Jewelry Building on North Lamar Avenue in Oxford. They do everything, jewelry repair, whatever jewelry you're looking for, they've got it. It's great for gifts, birthdays, graduation, anniversaries, push presents, and more. Arnett's wants to be your jeweler.
Well, I mean, I don't know that I'm answering anything overly crazy, but there are a few questions. Again, these are in the stream. I'm grabbing just about the state of the team site business as it is. People asking a lot of questions. Grind says, "Is it true Shannon said rivals be mostly for high school recruiting?" Look, I know a lot of On3 publishers had a conference call the day it went down. We are obviously not privy to that, so there could be things that I don't know. Probably are a lot of things that I do not know. But the way that was explained in the immediacy of the announcement was that they are pulling national resources from a recruiting side to rivals and a team site to On3. That was not going to be a local situation where they tell all the rivals employees you're just covering recruiting and it's on rivals.com, and On3 you're just covering team and it's on On3. That wasn't what they did a bad job of explaining it. That it was kind of a convoluted sentence.
Mm-hmm.
But what they were saying is that they are focusing national On3 and rivals resources for recruiting to rivals.com nationally, and team site portal news, or however they deem portal. Actually, I don't know, recruiting or otherwise.
Right.
To On3 from a national standpoint, that they now have under their employ all of the analysts for both sites, and they are going to use those in that way from a distribution standpoint as that's going. Other questions in that, there were a couple more. This is just me, and this is probably more inside baseball than anybody cared to know, but because we have similar businesses now, look, he's a giant. I'm not even doing necessarily of apples for apples. If you could give me one contract in the entire team site space to look at, it's whatever the hell KSR is doing with On3. I would love to know what that setup is, because they decided to go from independent to On3, which means they had to be compensated for that very handsomely to do so. Now, On3, I would bet my entire mortgage and my life that On3 has zero stake in KSR whatsoever from a radio standpoint or from a broadcast standpoint.
Because they're terrestrial radio also, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of hours a week. And they got the sports bar that's done pretty well, got a lot of other stuff. And they have two websites. They have KSR and KSR Plus, both on On3. One's a free site, one's a premium site.
Okay.
I would love to see what that looks like. I mean, I would be astonished at that point. So I'm wondering, not with the move, what that's meant for them, but just why they did that. And then, yes, I think the site, and they were in a situation to be able to do this because of fan size and all these different
Matt
things.
sold KSR to iHeart.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know what that means. Again,
I bet
would love to see.
Coin for that.
Oh boy. Kentucky Sports Radio. Sorry, that's somebody asking KSR. I know we're using abbreviations. Kentucky Sports Radio. Yeah, Texags is brilliant by being independent and just running their own shop. You can feel however you feel about Texas A&M, but Texags is a model for what these things could be in certain markets. It's
100%.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
From a straight content standpoint, what they have been able to do and build business wise, it's very impressive.
Yeah.
And we've had peeks under the hood.
I find Texags to be the single most fascinating thing. I really like all the people there. They're fans, but they don't come across that way, yet they also do NIL deals. And yet
it would put your mind into a pretzel.
And yet they have people who do really good work to the point that there has been some contentiousness with coaches and stuff. Fascinating.
But they got enough pull that all the coaches have to play.
Yeah, they get a level of access that's
because
fascinating.
It's because of power.
Yeah. Well, if you're a coach at Texas A&M and you make Texags your enemy, boy, you better win. I mean, you better win. It's kind of becoming a thing right now, though. Like with the lack of, I had this conversation with another writer yesterday because he was very frustrated about no access. He was talking about how he can't get any recruiting information. And I said, well, here's your problem. You don't get any info, and yet, no offense. I said, don't take offense to this. But your work is so, you guys are the greatest. What's the incentive? I said, you're covering a program that is kind of volatile. If it goes bad, you don't owe them anything. And that's something that doesn't happen in I'm not saying you should be unprofessional, but look, if nobody ever scratches your back, you say, hey, I got this one little spot right here. If someone says, scratch my back, and they mean really scratch it, like get, and then you're like, and you do it 10 times. And then the one time you've got a little spot like right there on the back of your shoulder blade, and you're like, can you just put like one nail on that for a second? And they're like, no, I'm not touching it. Then if you keep scratching their back, you're an idiot. It's kind of where we are. It's like I give Kiffin a ton of credit. He doesn't expect favors from media. We don't get much from that. That program is locked down.
Yeah, but they don't ask for anything. Yeah.
And so when you have programs that are asking for things and then they're still on total lockdown, well, you're a dummy for playing that game.
This is not completely absent of that conversation, the one that we led with, the NIL situation. South Carolina becoming the flagship state to take this on. And it's probably a longer conversation to talk about public record and where we are with athletics. For anybody that's completely foreign here, typically things that are private are not eligible for public record laws. Anybody can file an FOI. It doesn't have to be a media member. There's no card carrying thing that I have to pull out. If I submit one, anyone can do it.
Yeah.
And the states differ, but they have a certain period of days to respond and a certain period of days to get you the forms. And schools fight it to varying levels depending on the school with multiple ways. They don't want the public to have a lot of information, especially through athletic channels most of the time. There are ways to do that or to put things behind their foundations at different places where they say, nope, that's a private entity of the university that is not eligible with the university things. It's why back in the day, and I guess credit to the Clarion Ledger because they fought this and won. They actually got real contracts from Ole Miss coaches in recent months. You would get the state version of the contract, but not the foundation version of the contract, which would tell you absolutely nothing. So that was the way it was for a really long time. The other ways they do it is by stall tactics, that they wait to the very last minute to respond. No matter if there was an error or not in your form, they say there was an error. They stall again, stall again, stall again, stall, 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 stall. And at some point, it no longer has news value and you don't care anymore. And they wait you out and try to win that way. There's lots of rigging when it comes to public record laws and universities. So the new fight is whether NIL payments contracts should be open to public record now that rev share is kicking in and the athletic departments are footing a lot of the bill, as much as $18 million in most places. Clemson, I'm reading here from, this is all basically through the Posting Courier's John Blau.
Okay.
I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Clemson claims its revenue sharing contracts with student athletes are proprietary and not subject to public record. Shock there. The Posting Courier's John Blau, quote, release of that information, Clemson's legal counsel said, would put the university at a competitive disadvantage. Even a boilerplate copy of Clemson's revenue sharing contract, unsigned and without contract terms, is a work product of legal counsel and confidential. The university's trade secret argument was a shift from its first response, of course, because they needed a new one, to the Post and Courier's request for revenue sharing deals in January. Clemson initially said the contracts were educational records exempt under FERPA, which is ridiculous in every capacity, by the way. South Carolina Press Association attorney Jay Bender disagrees, telling Blau, all of the claimed exemptions, in my view, are nonsense. I don't think there's anything educational about paying someone to play football. They're making this up as they go along. Blau goes on to note that South Carolina law says athletes' NIL deals and collectives and other companies which pass through the university for compliance review aren't disclosable unless the school is a party in the contract. Clemson is a party to its revenue sharing agreements, but it's shielding those with arguments around educational records and trade secrets. The Post and Courier also requested planning documents related to revenue sharing. The university said it doesn't have final planning documents because the NCAA settlement hasn't been approved. But when it is, the university regards those documents, again, shockingly, as proprietary. How does this affect you guys? Because if the press associations would win, you would be able to know how much players are getting paid and treat it like professional sports. That's why it matters to you. Don't get caught in the legalese here.
Why do you think, and I think I know the answer, but I want to get your opinion. Why do you think the schools, and I mean all schools, fight this as hard as they do? Because they don't want people to know
it's
how
two things.
behind they are?
Well, it's two.
Okay.
Maybe three, however you want to categorize.
All right.
While players talk, they don't want a complete spreadsheet with each player knowing what other players do. Because, again, there are no contracts that are binding here, so you're doing constant renegotiation.
Okay.
If it's out there, oh, well, he got that. Well, the form says, well, I want it right now. Ole Miss had some players that you guys really like threaten to not play games unless they got more money.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the scumbags at every school that we know that about. I mean some decently good dudes.
It's one of the reasons that I sometimes push back on the Quinshawn's a horrible person thing.
Yeah. He wasn't by himself and absent here. It's that. And yes, it is documentation of where you sit nationally that while we kind of know sort of, there's a lot of plausible deniability, sort of like under the table recruiting back in the day. We had some ideas, but nobody could go, hey, here's the pen and paper to it. I mean, we don't know. So, yeah, it's like anything else. In competition, publicity of numbers is a detriment or a negative in any capacity. You're much better off your competition and people not knowing those actual numbers.
How much of it do you think?
And fans seeing the numbers and going, oh, shit.
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
How much of it is do you think? Because, look, this is the weird part about what we do. The people who subscribe to our website are diehards, right? We're not to give away secrets. We've been good at building community, which is something that a lot of people in our field can't do because they don't have the personality for it, to be honest. The people that listen to us is a broader audience and are generally in. But you go to Vaught Hemingway on a beautiful Saturday in the fall, and there's 65,000 people there.
At least.
All of those people are not listening to our podcast. You should.
We'd love it.
I mean, and if you'd all subscribe, oh, God.
Neal would be on an island doing this podcast right now.
But they don't. And so I wonder how many of those people, they just don't want, hey, that might be a glimpse too much into the sausage factory.
100%.
I mean, there's a lot of people,
well,
right?
the pavilion. I mean, again,
I don't know what you're going to say, so I can't say whether you
I'm
should
masking
say
it a little bit because I don't think it's fair to go crazy for a couple different reasons, and frankly, not good for you or I if I do. So,
Okay.
There's a lot of people in the pavilion that are going to show up for Ole Miss's team next year, root for them, and while they know that there's NIL and whatnot, they don't know that the guy over here that's probably averaging 14 minutes a night is making $600,000. Like,
Yeah.
they don't know that, and yet it's there. And
there's a difference between hearing it and knowing it.
Yeah. Or Sport Track. I mean, some version of that would be, hey, here it is. Now, I have to stay busy all the time because you'd have to file constant FOIs almost every day for edits or amendments because these would change in real time.
It's just where this is. I don't know where it's all going. Not to get into the topic and start burning matches. By the way, someone literally mailed me a bunch of matches the other day.
Oh, really?
So I'd have them. Yeah, it was funny.
I think I saw that either in the stream or on the board that they were going to.
It was funny. Yeah, I laughed.
Okay, so you're good for a while.
Yeah, I got lots of matches.
Were they branded? Or just like whatever the company is,
Just
it's the red and blue?
Yeah.
Is it Diamond?
It might have been
Is
Diamond.
it Diamond?
I'm not sure.
Is that the match company?
They should sponsor us.
What's the match company?
I know Diamond does make matches.
Is
I'm
that
sure
right?
there's more than one match company.
Keep talking.
Well, I just kind of wonder. I mean, everyone talks about the professional model and contracts and employees and all of that, yet they still want. It's why I've told people I think, and maybe I'm wrong because I'm not in touch with that level of fandom on a personal level. I do wonder if that is the bridge too far. I do. I still think the whole make them employees, sign contracts, basically just be paid contractors playing football for your school, but not really students anymore. I kind of think that's the bridge too far. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is so – because, look, all the people that come to Oxford on a Saturday when Arkansas comes here, first conference game, right?
That's correct.
So
No. Oh, you mean football? It's up there.
Yeah, right. But the first home conference game is Arkansas.
Yeah, Arkansas, correct, yes.
So when everybody converges in Oxford that weekend, not everybody's really here for the football. The football is what brought them here, but a lot of people, what they're most excited about, right, is seeing their friends, seeing family, getting back on campus, going to the bars, having a weekend. They'll go to the game, whatever. They hope the Rebels win, whatever. But you know what I mean. There's a lot of casual fandom. Maybe that is so strong that those people are like, I don't care that they're making a bunch of money. I don't care that they don't actually go to school. I don't really care. They're just wearing the uniform, and it gives us a reason to have this party. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying I kind of wonder if maybe I'm overstating it. Maybe it is so powerful that sentiment is so powerful that it would overcome anything.
This is, first off, yes, are they white tip matches that are strike anywhere, or do you have to use the box? What level of matches do we have?
I'm not sure.
Okay. And then Stacy makes a great point, and I've seen the argument both ways. She says, for my own sanity, we've never designated our donations to a specific player. It would be like betting on a horse.
Yeah.
It would. And there's some people who go, while it's 1/10 of that player, at least I can see some tangible piece of something. And it's not just up into the ether.
Yeah.
Where I don't know. So that's interesting, the different psychology.
Ginger says, isn't it? So Ginger and I are having the nuance argument here, and we're not really arguing because I think we're kind of saying the same thing. She says, isn't it already that these kids aren't really students? Yeah, but if you made that official, I mean, I agree with her. My point is that this current model leaves just a little to the imagination. It lets you not say the quiet part out loud. if you had to say it out loud and make it official and take all the imagination away, would it be the same? Would it have the same aura? I don't know. I think so. And then BWL says something that a lot of people think. I'm still forming an opinion on this. He says if programs aren't successful in the win column, support will fall out faster than in the past. It's all about W's.
And I think that has been my theory throughout.
It was my theory,
but it's relative.
I went to that game in Fayetteville last year with LSU, and Arkansas wasn't winning, and that place was packed. It was packed.
People like football and getting together.
That's what I just said.
I know. Like,
all of those people didn't fill it. What does that stadium hold? 71, 72?
Sure.
Whatever. It was packed. It was too packed. I couldn't wait to get the hell out of there. It was so packed. All of those people weren't there to see the Hogs. They just weren't.
It's a less.
They were there to have. They don't have the Grove or whatever.
And
but
it's not sold out every game or anything. It's a less version of. But it's a very similar thing to the Ole Miss baseball argument we have all the time. As everybody goes, you fire him, and the other side goes, they're making $1 million a year, and the place is selling 8,500 season tickets.
Well, because let's be clear.
Yeah, it's like, whoa,
I've done this. What
are you
before.
doing?
I've done this before. I firmly believe. If I remember, what was his name? Zach in Saved by the Bell. He could
Morris.
Zach Morris could stop everything in that
He'd
moment.
Say timeout.
Timeout.
He'd say timeout.
I think if I walked into Swayze on next weekend on Friday against Auburn, Thursday against Auburn.
Yeah.
Friday, whatever. And I went, timeout. And I could go individually to all 9,000 people in that stadium and say, what's the score? Don't look at the scoreboard. What's the score? What inning are we in? I'll go so far as to tell you the majority wouldn't be able to tell me the inning they were in.
Majority in the outfield, probably.
Well, that's a lot of people.
No, it is. Grandstand.
Most.
Like any other stadium.
Sure. This isn't a criticism.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just trying to think through it, though.
And for the record, I think I could do this at Alex Box, at a lot of places. People aren't not all at Swayze hanging on every damn pitch. They're just not. They're there to have a good time, visit with friends, let their kids run around. And
it's where nuance comes in. Is them being there, is them not being somewhere else, and still a credit to Mike and the program.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't happen everywhere.
Well, they won't be there
otherwise, everyone would average 11,000 people at a game.
They won't be there this weekend just hanging out. There's no baseball. The baseball brings them there, but I'm not necessarily sure that everyone's there for the baseball. And so the idea of, well, you fire him and bring in it's complicated.
Yeah, and this is not because of that. Grind, when we used to do shows on this over and over and over again, Grind says in 2017, the average SEC attendance for a football game was 76,000. Last year it was 71. That is prices. That's big-ass TVs being cheap.
Yeah.
That is hotels being expensive. That is a lot of things that is not NIL related.
Right.
That is a ton of just simply expense and ease of staying at home. And frankly, post-COVID, when we kind of did it, when that wasn't so bad.
Well, sure.
That was pretty good.
But to his point, you do wonder what you don't know ever, right, is how many people, like including all the people that are dropping off this podcast today because we're not talking sports, how many people are on the verge of quitting?
Mm-hmm.
How many people
What's the tipping point?
Almost there.
What's the straw?
Where people go, wait, he makes what?
And maybe it is, maybe it didn't. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean,
Ole Miss is poised next year because I'm going to assume baseball attendance doesn't fall off. I think there's a really likelihood that Ole Miss is poised for the three major men's sports to probably set an overall record for attendance because football is going to fill up. It just is.
Yeah.
Basketball is going to have a hell of a crowd next year.
I would think.
And baseball is going to be full.
Yeah. Every time I say this, people get mad at me. They think I'm insulting Oxford. I'm not. This applies to a lot of SEC towns.
No, it's what makes them special in some ways.
What else is there to do here in the spring? I mean, my neighborhood empties out for home baseball games.
Yeah.
They're not all diehard baseball fans. I'm just telling you, they're not.
I do think the program was on the precipice of having a much smaller in-person attendance with one more losing season.
Yeah.
I do think the seats were about to be empty and sold.
Yeah.
Which still counts on the 8,500.
Yeah.
People don't lose their seats. But
yeah,
it was about to thin.
But it didn't.
It didn't.
It didn't.
Yeah, I actually got several things. We'll do in a minute. Fine.
Look at us.
It's fine.
We walked in here today and we're like, I don't know what the hell
It's
we're
only
going to do.
our 3,400th podcast or something like that. The Declaration of Independence Center for the Study of American Freedom, located on the Ole Miss campus and aimed to explore and examine the fundamental and founding principles of the United States of America. They offer an academic minor in freedom studies, scholarship opportunities for Ole Miss students that bring along lots of networking potential. To learn more, contact Stephen Scoltetti or Rankin Sherling, freedom@olemiss.edu, or visit independence.olemiss.edu.
Brought to you by College Corner. They've got autographed footballs, helmets, all the latest Ole Miss gear. Speaking of gifts, you got graduation. Is it this weekend here, Chase?
Graduation is this weekend. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Start. I think business school masters or something starts it tonight. And goes through Saturday.
So if you got a grad, that'd be a great gift. You got all the latest gear at the College Corner. Maybe you're getting ready for baseball regionals. You're getting ready for football season. They've got a great location here in Oxford, right off of Sisk Avenue in the Oxford Commons. 2 locations in Jackson, and you can also catch them online too, collegecornerstore.ms.com. We are brought to you by our friends at Argent Wealth. When you work with Argent Wealth's 401k advisory services, you gain a valuable advisory time-saving resource that will help you develop and maintain a solid strategy for your retirement plan. They're committed to providing you with the personalized attention and involvement that you want and need. Their goal is to help you manage your 401k plan properly and ultimately improve your employees' retirement readiness. Call Argent Wealth today. It's myargentwealth.com. We're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated. He's in Memphis, but you don't have to be in or near Memphis to do business with John. All you got to do is get in touch with him, give him some parameters, give him a budget, and he will help you create a vacation that creates a lifetime of unique memories. It's jedwards@regencytravel.net or 901-494-3387. Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself. It's corinthdental.com.
Podcast is brought to you by NeSpark, the fastest, most reliable fiber internet option available, whether you're streaming the Rebels or connecting with family and friends. Residential business packages with speeds of 2 gigabits. To learn more, register for service, nespark.com. NeSpark, get connected. Stay local. Quick women's golf update. The one sport going on in postseason play right now. Ole Miss women on the final day of the Charlottesville Regional. They are currently in second place. They are through 4 to 8 holes in the final round, depending on where the 5 players. College golf works by 5 players on a team. The top 4 scores count for the event. They add those together, and that is your team score for the day and the tournament. Ole Miss trying to move on again to the national championships. Those are out in California, and they are pretty comfortable right now. They are, again, in second place, and they are 15 shots over the cut line at the moment.
Oh.
So they're in pretty good shape there to advance. And again, they're doing this with Caitlin McNabb having a weird week. I don't know the extent of what exactly is going on with Ole Miss's soon-to-be 4-time All-American, but they're in good shape. You got to finish it up. 14 to 11 holes to go, depending on which player we're talking about. But Corey Hink is clearly on her way to carrying Ole Miss to another national championship tournament. She's done a hell of a job there, manning that program, including winning the 2021 national title. So that's your update. See, Akron was told that because their APR was bad, they were ineligible for a bowl game, Neal, because that really matters these days. I've heard a lot about APR and making sure those dang progress rates are up as we move forward. I mean, the NCAA should be embarrassed to even give a shit right now. Like, we're really doing APR rates.
And we're going to pick on Akron.
I mean, this is the epitome. in every way of the running joke that Kentucky pissed off the NCAA so bad they put Cleveland State on probation. Like, this is asinine in every way.
I mean, can you imagine?
Who gives a shit?
Can you imagine everyone's APR right now?
Neal.
I mean, come
Neal.
on. So we're going to pick on Akron?
Actually, Ole Miss released, they had a great APR yesterday. Did you see this?
I didn't. I paid no attention to any of that stuff.
Ole Miss Athletics breaks department APR record.
Good for them.
Came in at 1219 yesterday. Multi-year average of 993.
I don't mean that as a criticism.
Ole Miss ranks tied for second with Missouri and Vanderbilt at 993, trailing only 995 by Alabama. I swear I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't even know we still cared or paid attention to it. So you can get popped on this?
I guess. I don't know how. I mean,
do you remember last year
take Ole Miss
the rumor was that was the reason Arkansas was going to give to get rid of Musselman was APR?
Yeah.
And I was like, really?
Stop.
That's what's going to do it?
Stop. It's insane.
Mark says Oregon's was very low. Okay.
How?
They're going to 4 different schools in 4 years in 4 different majors. Shut up.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Here's what happens with APR, I'm assuming, is your Olympic sports are keeping most of their players and propping up your scores. And again, whatever. This is not a criticism. Trust me. I do not care enough to criticize APR numbers.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I'm right here. From Ole Miss's press release. Again, theirs is exemplary. Good job.
Yeah, cool.
Great.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, there's probably bonuses for coaches in this. And 2, you'll stay out of trouble. No problems at 993. 4 Rebel teams have a perfect multi-year APR score of 1,000. Men's golf, rifle, soccer, and women's tennis. Look at Malloy doing work.
How about that?
Of the 16 sports at Ole Miss, 10 posted perfect single-season scores of 1,000. Baseball, women's basketball, men's women's golf, blah, 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 blah. I am curious, how does that work? How does men's basketball and baseball have a perfect APR score? It means that anybody leaving still didn't fall below a standard?
I don't know how it works.
Does that make sense?
It does, but this is a topic that I've never been interested in enough to learn about. And that's probably a reflection on me, but I haven't.
Okay.
I'm sure people in the athletics department are like, well, you should understand it. You cover it. But
it's a team-based metric where scholarship student athletes earn 1 point each term for remaining eligible and 1 point for staying in school or graduating. So, I mean, I will give, especially in basketball, men's basketball is included in this. Women's basketball is too. So both programs. I will give you credit here. I tell you what it measures, and I actually get this one, is it measures that kids who were going to leave didn't stop going to class. They finished the semester, which, okay. Like, well, that is something.
I will give Ole Miss this.
Yeah, that's relevant.
And I'm sure
I'm okay with that.
I'm sure this applies at other schools too, but I don't cover those schools. I will give Ole Miss credit for this. They have absolutely had kids enter the portal, and they've made sure that they still had the academic tools at their disposal to do well.
Yeah. They did not stop the assistants or whatever.
Right.
The amenities that go with being that.
Yeah.
There is a lot of online class. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Utah hockey team has announced it will be called the Utah Mammoths.
That's good. I like that.
I got no issues with Mammoths.
No, I like Mammoths.
Was they thinking about the Yetis at one point?
Yeah. They couldn't do that because of the Yeti, the cup people.
Feels like a co-branding opportunity. We not figure something out?
I don't know. If you're Yeti, do you really want to be just one? What about?
Well, that's true.
Do you want to piss off all the other hockey fans?
That's true. I think they got a big hockey contingent.
I don't know. I mean,
have they lost market share now to Stanley and everybody else? Is a Yeti cup, Yeti cooler still a thing?
All the girls drink out of Stanleys now, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
For today. It'll be something else tomorrow. Yeah, Dick's was running out of their like 40-ounce Stanleys in like minutes and stuff because of this. It's crazy.
How about that?
You didn't think Stanley, who was known for tools all those years, now.
I do like the NHL sweaters.
Where are you falling on the NBC decision? We mentioned the NBC and NBA and NBC
Right.
decision yesterday. Back on broadcast television starting next year.
John Tesh, the whole deal.
They're bringing back a lot of the 1990s promos and a lot of the 1990s music from that era in basketball.
Sure.
But Jim Fagans, the voice of NBC and those promos from the 90s, he's deceased. He died in 2017. They're using AI to bring his voice back for those promos. What you think?
I mean, okay, I don't care enough about this to like lose sleep. Okay, so when people
Neal is setting a number on the barometer before he starts. He's going, hey.
But in general, I don't like it.
I don't either. His family his estate is getting some level of.
I just think this AI thing is a really slippery slope.
Oh, it's
I mean, I really do. Where nothing's real.
The astonishment of how some kids are cheating in college
is wild.
And I mean that on a stupid level. I mean, like thinking they get away with things with AI that are the dumbest things in the world. Where you go, come on.
Yeah.
It's like I'll be a little careful here because I like the person. But I was talking to a college professor a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And I know enough in other areas to know that the AI and the cheating is pretty rampant. And teacher goes, well, I just don't know that I've seen a lot of that because I warn them and I stress not to do it and they just don't do it. You went, okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Like when you're sitting at the poker table and you don't know who the sucker is, it's you right there. It's like, bless your heart in the most Southern grandmother way. It was like, okay.
I mean, if you provide people shortcuts and cheating opportunities, a lot of people will take them. It was the silliness of the COVID year where everything was on Zoom. I mean, I've told you the story. I don't want to be mean to my oldest child, but she typically made a certain GPA. It was good. And suddenly that GPA was much higher. And I was like, hey, what's up? Because you're not studying. Because last year I knew how much you studied. And I heard there was a certain fraternity on that campus that had come up with a very brilliant, elaborate cheating scheme.
Oh, really?
Yeah, everything was on Zoom.
Okay.
So if you make AI capable of writing your term paper, it's probably going to write your term paper. Which means you don't actually learn
you can
anything.
tell it. There's some AI engines out there you can tell to write it to a certain grade and grade level.
Yeah.
Ole Miss softball knocked off the Missouri Tigers 1-0 yesterday in the first round of the SEC tournament. That is in Athens, Georgia. Mizzou was in the 14 seed. Ole Miss now 36-16 overall, 11-13 regular season in the SEC. They move on to face the Florida Gators, who are the 6th seed today, 43-13, 14-10 for the 4th time this season. They played a series earlier in the year. I think Ole Miss won one of the 3. I think it was in Oxford. Florida is ranked 4th in the country, but is the 6th seed in the SEC tournament. Just get paid?
No, package out for delivery.
Oh, like that shop thing?
Yeah.
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 What are you laughing at?
I don't know. I'm looking to see something.
Jay Robertson, I have interest in that. I need to look into that more. Thank you for the post there. What?
Nothing.
There's something you want to talk about?
No. I mean, yes, but I'm not.
Okay. Is it important?
No.
Okay.
It's me being a jerk.
Todd Golden got paid. Frankly, not as much as I thought he might.
He won a title.
6 years, 40.5 total. So six and a half ish per year.
I could live on that.
I think Beard's at 6.
Yeah. Hey, man, my NIL money went a long way with the Gators this year. We won us a title.
Did you get a thank you note?
Oh, really nice.
Like Alabama used to do when everybody would give him $5 and Saban would make the department send the thank you note to Earl from Demopolis.
Yep.
And he'd hang it above his mantle.
Yep.
Thank
Todd
you for
says,
supporting the Tide.
Dear Neal, couldn't have done it without you.
Couldn't have done it without
Couldn't
you.
have done it without you and your gift. Go Gators, Todd. It was beautiful. I hung it. It's framed.
Steve Terry, Neal doesn't want to bet anything. He says, how much would you want to bet Missouri gets their first conference win this weekend? They are in College Station to face the Aggies.
3 L's, baby. L.
But then they come home to Taylor Stadium and play those Mississippi State Bulldogs next
3
weekend.
more L's.
1 and 2. 1 and 2.
Okay.
They're getting one next weekend against the Bulldogs.
I got to tell you, if I'm Mississippi State, that would piss me off.
I was laughing about this yesterday. I was listening to Super Talk for a minute with Hey Dad and Borky, and Hey Dad was, you could see that the nerves were kind of, he was like, I really want them to get one this weekend. I don't want to go into that. You don't want to be that team that lets them get one of the last. He's like, and it's the last week of the year, and it's in Columbia, and he's like, you just don't want to go into
the
that.
whole in Columbia thing. So powerful. I'm so scared.
Bluebell,
Boy.
Swayze, Alex Box, Taylor Stadium.
Boy, you go in the Taylor Stadium, and I mean, your life is in your own hands. That's an intimidating environment.
No, that's when they Kentucky was forced to play in the Gary, Indiana regional a few years ago. The life was in your own hands.
Yeah, that's true. Boy.
Have you heard do you remember all the stories out of that? There was like a rain delay or something, and they told everybody in the stadium that it had gotten past a certain hour and not to leave, to wait, because it wasn't like, what was the NCAA doing? I think it was Purdue maybe that was hosting there.
I think so. That's my point. That's why you never know. They have all these little agendas and stuff, and they'll do stupid things.
That was wild. I mean, look, I hope A&M loses to them this weekend because I get to make fun of A&M and celebrate Missouri winning a game.
Sure.
I mean, I'm all in on the Tigers this weekend.
Let me be clear. I hope Missouri sweeps the series.
Do you?
But they're not gonna.
Do you?
You sure?
Okay.
Be a fun story.
It would. I wouldn't want to be the A&M coach. Hadn't done a very it's been a weird year.
It has been a weird
Coming
year.
off Schlossnagle and what he's doing at Texas.
They're a little talented to be where they are.
Even with the injuries, they're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. So, podcast brought to you in part by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer MedSync for your prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you. One trip to the pharmacy, one delivery. You have everything you need when you need it with G&M. So, again, whether that is with Tyson Drugs in Holly Springs or G&M in Oxford, 662-236-2222.
Located in the heart of Cajun country in Broussard, Louisiana, Parish Brewing Company's simple goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer. They do it really, really well. They've got Dr. Juice. It's a highly crushable Juice Bomb IPA, dry hopped with a blend of their favorite hand-selected hops from the Yakima Valley. Dr. Juice's drinkability is sneaky good, considering it clocks in at 6% ABV. They've also got Ghost in the Machine. It's a double IPA, just fantastic. They've got a lot of other beers as well, Envy, Canebrake, and more. So check out Parish Brewing Company wherever you get your beer. And I'll have a mailbag to you later today. I've been lazy. I haven't started on it. I need to get to work here soon. It's brought to you by Art Hayes, Sotheby's International Realty. That mailbag, by the way, will be at rebelgrove.com. If you're thinking of making a move, put the power of Sotheby's International Realty to work for you. As a licensed agent with Sotheby's and a supporter of all things Ole Miss, Art Hayes can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously. So call and ask Art how. 612-805-5929 or email Art at arthur.hayes@lakesmn.com.
Speaking of those Missouri Tigers, they did fall at Taylor Stadium last night. Kansas, the Jayhawks, getting the 6-5 win in the midweek on the road. Kansas under Dan Fitzgerald has done a phenomenal job this year. I had
They've been getting big crowds.
Have they?
Mhm.
I had Michael Swain from Fog.net on the podcast a few weeks ago. He did not think Kansas, even if they get an RPI in the range, can host at their current stadium. But they are 15-9 in the Big 12, 37-13 overall. Missouri now 12-35, 0-24 in the SEC. Texas winner over Lamar last night. Troy, they lose 10-2 at home against Alabama last night. Good in-state game last night. Troy's done a good job.
Alabama won 10-2.
10-2 at Troy last night.
Roll Tide.
At Riddle Pace Field in
Let's
Troy,
go.
Alabama. South Florida goes on the road to Gainesville and wins 7-1 against Florida at Conjuring Family Ballpark last night. What?
Gators.
They're back to 11-13 though. They're okay to get in.
Yeah.
They're kind of in that
They
LSU
should be
realm though. That
better.
midweeks
They should be better than they are.
He's done a bad job. O'Sullivan has done a really bad job.
Well, I don't know how that's. I don't know how he made it through that. I don't.
You mentioned 30 for 30s a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
Let's dive in there. Frankly, I wouldn't want to, but
no. That would be kind of dark.
Your
boy would be watching so much Office in his free time.
It would have to go on HBO. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Couldn't put that one on ESPN.
That's not going to be the ESPN Saturday morning content that you're going through at that point. Tennessee, a 12-1 win over Indiana State. Indiana State, the model of a program that has been just decapitated by NIL. The Sycamores were really good last year. They were excellent. They were a team that was in the host conversation the entire year, and their entire team got gutted by the portal after the year. They lost all 9 starters to either graduation or the portal following that year. Tennessee 12-1 over Indiana State last night. Louisville at home. Dan McDonnell and the Cardinals knock off the Vanderbilt Commodores 5-4 last night. Louisville and Vanderbilt play really good midweek games. Those are some of your more fun midweek games to watch over the course of the season. And then we had rain canceling Texas A&M in Houston and Grambling and LSU last night. Those 2 games. LSU getting a little break there in an RPI standpoint with the game against the Tigers rained out.
Ginger says a football coach wouldn't have made it through that. I agree.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, too much.
Yeah. Even Tom Rinaldi wouldn't be able to sort of talk that one away. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I don't care.
I forgot to hit the button. You know me. I wanted that camera on me. Give me the cameras.
Yeah, when's the documentary just going to follow Neal around all day, every day?
God.
Tweet came to us yesterday. Speaking of the rain thing, I did laugh. Credit to whoever sent it to me on X. Said, "Do you happen to know the chances of tornadoes in Oxford next Tuesday?" Yes, Ole Miss needs a break with the weather with UT Martin in town for the final midweek of the year next year. Probably not going to get it. They're probably going to have to actually play the Skyhawks.
I'm pulling it up.
And then we mentioned this yesterday, and I've had 2 different people say something to me about it actually
Sunny and 81.
Oh, well, play ball. Swayze Field on Tuesday evening.
Rain on Monday. They could forget to put the tarp down.
I think the NCAA would frown upon that.
Hey, people forget stuff all the time.
Okay. We suspended the grounds crew.
Our grounds crew got sick. We forgot to bring in the replacement grounds crew. It happens.
Hal Reese on X yesterday said, played golf on Monday with 2 Alabama school superintendents. They said girls flag football is huge for them. Second time this week he's heard of that. Interesting. I've had multiple people mention it too.
Yeah.
I did not know this concept prior to a couple days ago. So just putting it out there in the ether. That's all.
Girls flag football.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think Caroline would have been interested?
No.
Okay.
No. God, no. I mean, like, holy no.
Okay.
No. Neither of my girls would have had the slightest interest.
Jam on the stream says it's big in the Nashville suburbs. Okay.
Campbell will now tell you that she played basketball as a kid because she thought I wanted her to.
Oh, does
She
really?
wishes she had danced.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like, well, why'd you think that? She goes, I don't know. You love basketball. And I'm like, yeah, but that had nothing to do with you playing. I thought you played because you wanted to play. I supported you playing. Would have been much less of a headache had you done something different.
It's interesting.
Yeah. Caroline never once considered that. I remember vividly Caroline playing t-ball as the softball t-ball. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And wearing her dance shoes out at second base. And you knew that.
Oh,
You
really?
knew that the dance thing was where we were headed.
Yeah, I don't remember that. In following your kids, I mostly remember the frustration with Upward at times.
Yeah.
And
And then
then
we had the middle school thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was pretty intense.
That's right. Dallas Cowboys have traded for
Pickens.
for George Pickens. Sorry, missing that. Came out this morning. They agreed to it on Wednesday. Sends Pickens to Dallas for a 2026 third-round pick. Cowboys also sending a 2027 fifth-round pick to the Steelers. They get back a 2027 sixth-round pick. So they get to pair Pickens with C.D. Lamb there in Dallas. DK Metcalf, now a Steeler. So
Yeah. It'll make that first-round exit just another first-round exit.
hey, it's been rough from that standpoint. They haven't won a playoff game in a minute.
It's been a minute.
Regular size Ben said my girl played t-ball one year and quit because the glove made her hand sweat. Yeah, I was only able to get Carly into softball the one fall. We didn't do it again. So
Oh, yeah.
I liked it more than she did. I had a good time
Yeah.
being out there.
Campbell played softball some, and then she jammed a finger, and that was that.
Yeah, if it's not on a horse or having a tennis racket in her hand, Carly has no interest. I mean, I knew I was in trouble when she got up to the plate to hit, and she looked at me and she had the bat, and she goes, "Can I just do it one-handed?" She just wanted to hit a forehand. I was like, not the sport, but sure. Tennis does kind of play though with softball a little bit. Like you can kind of make that work. So it's all good. We'll follow. We'll see if softball makes it to a third day in Athens. Again, got baseball, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State coming up this weekend from Dudy Noble. I heard they're expecting crowds probably on Friday, if you're headed down as an Ole Miss fan, of about probably 11:5.
Are you going?
I don't if I'm going, it's up and back on Saturday.
Okay.
That's kind of, I'm not going on Mother's Day on Sunday.
Oh, yeah, that's Mother's Day.
And my parents don't live in Amory anymore. So, like, what I used to do is just go and then drive halfway back and go back and stay there. But that not being the case, I really don't want to go down on Friday night and then drive all the way back, and I'm not staying down there. So, I don't think so. Got other things trying to finish. We got a few things going on currently.
Yeah.
So
busy.
It's
how big of a Mother's Day do you have to go all out on Mother's Day?
I'll just be aware.
Yeah.
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 I don't feel like I have any like psychopathic behavior in my family when it comes to that. But I have said this, I am potentially bad at gift giving and acknowledgments because I don't care on my end.
Right.
So I have a hard time generating the necessary enthusiasm sometimes, not because I don't care,
Right.
but because I don't care about myself in any capacity with birthdays and things.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes I like to use it as an excuse to get people together for dinner, but it's just an excuse to get people together. It's not celebrating me. It is my birthday week.
Right.
I don't need to put a sash on. I'm okay. So that's all.
Sometimes I use it as an excuse to get some alone time.
Well, yeah, Nicholas, what do you want for your birthday? Peace and quiet.
Yeah.
Solitary confinement. That is what I want.
Couple hours outside by myself.
Well, it's to this point. Our boy Siski, I still got questions on. You thought that was punishment? You sent him to Alaska by himself and thought that we were punishing him? What are we doing?
I mean, I did almost get chased by a bear.
It was a seal.
Looked a lot like a bear.
Yeah, I don't know that I ever would have gotten an NIL deal in anything. So been shut out of those conversations.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that I was never talented enough to get an NIL deal.
No.
We mentioned this in this thing.
Oh, sorry.
I will say this. The The state of Arkansas has apparently made NIL deals tax exempt.
A bill exempting NIL earnings from state income has been signed into law.
That is ludicrous.
In Arkansas.
That is so stupid. So let me get this right. Because you run fast and jump high, your income is tax exempt. But the cat who works his ass off 50 hours a week, who wasn't gifted with the ability to run fast and jump high, his taxes or her taxes are not tax exempt. Their income is not tax exempt. Give me an effing break. No, if you make money, you should be taxed like anybody else. Oh, well, it contributes to the betterment of the state. Okay, well, what about the guy who's a CEO who hires?
In the same bill, they also say those payments are confidential and not allowed to be mentioned anywhere.
Total horseshit. Drives. I hate that. And you watch every other.
You signed something into law that even Georgia went, I don't know, too far.
Kirby pushed for it.
Oh, hard. Well, the lawyer said we got to help out Kirby and the dogs. He said it from the rotunda.
It will eventually pass because now they'll use, Arkansas does it. We got to do it.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
The world we're in.
That's nuts.
Hope y'all have a great day. If you want to turn on Court TV right now, you got Connor Keefe from the Massachusetts State Police speaking on the stand in the Karen Reed trial. RebelGrove.com, MPW Digital. Put a podcast with Rippy and Colin this morning.
She's got bad RBF going today.
She seems frustrated today.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Take care. Good show. Appreciate you by the stream. You guys carried us through, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.